The Los Angeles Dodgers fan base woke up to a day that feels heavy with anticipation, the kind that sits in your chest and refuses to go away. The offseason has dragged on longer than anyone expected, and now all eyes are locked on one name that continues to dominate every serious conversation around the league. Kyle Tucker has become the axis around which this entire free agency period seems to spin, and the Dodgers are very much part of that gravity. There's been a noticeable shift in the tone of the discussion, moving away from vague speculation and into something that feels more concrete, more tense, and far more consequential for teams with championship expectations. What makes this situation so fascinating is how clearly different philosophies are colliding. On one side, there's the idea of short-term dominance, paying a massive annual value to secure an elite player right now and maximize the immediate championship window. On the other, there's the long-term vision, the comfort of locking a franchise cornerstone into a deal that stretches deep into the future. The Dodgers, as everyone knows, live in that win-now space. But even for an organization with their financial strength, there are limits and consequences that cannot be ignored. The reported figures floating around the league have raised eyebrows everywhere, especially when it comes to annual value. A deal that pushes toward a historically high yearly number changes the entire calculus, particularly for a team that has already been operating above the luxury tax line for multiple seasons. For the Dodgers, every additional dollar is magnified, not just on the payroll, but in the penalties that follow. This is where the decision becomes less about whether they can do it and more about whether they should. From a baseball standpoint, the appeal is obvious. Kyle Tucker is exactly the type of player who fits seamlessly into what the Dodgers want to be. He is in his prime, brings elite production on both sides of the ball, and thrives in high-pressure environments. Add that kind of presence to an already loaded roster, and you're not just thinking about one postseason run. You are thinking about stacking championships, about creating a stretch of dominance that defines an era. But the front office also has to weigh the reality of roster construction beyond the next couple of seasons. Short-term, high annual value contracts are powerful, but they are also risky in their own way. They compress your flexibility, force hard decisions elsewhere, and leave very little margin for error if injuries or performance dips enter the picture. For a team that prides itself on depth and sustainability, that tension is impossible to ignore. What complicates matters even further is that this is not a simple two-team race. The Dodgers are navigating a landscape where other organizations are willing to approach this from a completely different angle, offering longer-term security and guaranteed money that stretches well beyond the immediate future. That puts the power squarely in the players' hands. This is not about chasing the last dollar alone, but about choosing a path, a philosophy, and a lifestyle that aligns with where he sees himself, not just as a player, but as a person. From the Dodgers' perspective, patience has become both a strategy and a test. The longer this drags on, the more it affects the rest of the market, freezing movement and delaying clarity. Fans feel it, analysts feel it, and front offices certainly feel it. Every day, without a decision, is another day of uncertainty, another day where plans remain unfinished and questions unanswered. There's also the psychological aspect of all of this. When a player of this caliber is weighing multiple elite options, it sends a message across the league. It reminds everyone that even the most powerful franchises are not guaranteed anything. The Dodgers may offer a winning culture, a proven track record, and a roster built to contend immediately, but they are still part of a broader conversation where personal priorities and long-term security matter just as much as banners and rings. For Dodgers fans, this waiting game has been exhausting. There is excitement, of course, but also frustration. Everyone wants to know what this roster is going to look like when spring training arrives, how the lineup will be constructed, and whether this team will have that extra edge that separates contenders from champions. Until a decision is made, everything feels slightly out of focus, like a picture that just will not sharpen. What is clear is that this is no longer just about numbers on a contract. It is about timing, philosophy, and the willingness to commit fully to a specific vision. The Dodgers are standing at a crossroads that could define the next few seasons of their franchise, and whatever choice is made, it will echo throughout the league. The tension continues to build, the clock keeps ticking, and the sense that something big is about to happen grows stronger with every passing day. As this situation stretches deeper into the offseason, the Dodgers find themselves in a familiar but uncomfortable position, balancing confidence with restraint. This organization is used to being decisive, used to setting the tone rather than reacting to it. Yet this time, the silence feels louder, and every passing day adds another layer of intrigue. Around the league, there is a growing sense that once this decision finally drops, everything else will start moving in rapid succession, like a dam finally breaking after holding back weeks of pressure. Inside the Dodgers' orbit, the conversation is no longer just about adding another star. It is about what kind of commitment best aligns with the current core. This roster is already packed with elite talent, players who expect to be competing for a title every single year. Bringing in someone like Kyle Tucker on a short-term, massive annual value deal will be a bold statement that the present matters more than anything else. It would signal an all-in mentality that leaves no room for hesitation, but also no room for error. At the same time, there's an understanding that the long-term health of the franchise cannot be ignored. The Dodgers have built their success on a foundation of smart planning, player development, and financial discipline, even when spending aggressively. A deal that pushes annual value to unprecedented territory forces difficult questions about flexibility, depth, and the ability to adapt when circumstances change. Injuries, regression, and unexpected downturns are realities of the sport, no matter how strong a roster looks on paper. From the player's perspective, the choice is equally complex. Short-term deals with massive payouts offer freedom and the opportunity to re-enter the market while still in a prime window. They also come with pressure, the expectation to perform immediately and justify every dollar in a condensed time frame. Long-term deals, on the other hand, provide security and peace of mind, the kind that allows a player to focus entirely on baseball without constantly thinking about the future. Each path carries its own weight, and neither is clearly right or wrong. For the Dodgers, selling the vision is about more than just money. It is about opportunity, about stepping into a lineup that is already designed to win now, about playing meaningful games deep into October year after year. It is about being part of a culture that expects excellence and has the infrastructure to support it. That pitch has worked before, and it remains one of the organization's strongest assets. Still, patience has become the defining theme of this offseason, and it is testing everyone involved. Fans are eager to move on, to stop speculating and start analyzing what is actually in front of them. They want to project lineups, debate rotations, and imagine postseason scenarios without the lingering uncertainty of a massive, unanswered question hovering over everything. The waiting has turned what should be an exciting build-up into something that feels strangely stalled. What adds to the tension is the sense that this decision is not being delayed out of indecision, but out of calculation. Every option is being weighed carefully, every consequence examined from multiple angles. That kind of deliberation suggests how significant this choice truly is, not just for one player, but for the competitive balance of the league. Wherever Kyle Tucker lands, the ripple effects will be immediate and far-reaching. In Los Angeles, the front office understands that they cannot afford to rush, but they also cannot afford to misstep. A move of this magnitude defines narratives, shapes expectations, and locks in a direction that may be difficult to change later. The Dodgers have thrived by staying ahead of the curve, by anticipating rather than reacting, and this moment demands that same level of clarity. As the days continue to pass, the atmosphere feels increasingly charged. Every report, every rumor, every hint of movement is dissected and debated. The sense that the finish line is approaching grows stronger, even if the exact timing remains unclear. This is the kind of moment that reminds everyone how much power elite players truly hold, and how even the most dominant franchises must sometimes wait, watch, and hope that their vision aligns with the one decision that can change everything while the league remains frozen in anticipation, waiting for the move that finally reshapes the landscape and sets the stage for what comes next. The uncertainty has also forced the Dodgers to quietly evaluate alternative paths without fully committing to them. That does not mean shifting focus away from the main target, but it does mean understanding the consequences of every possible outcome. If this move does not materialize, the organization has to be ready to pivot quickly, not in panic, but with purpose. That kind of internal preparation is part of what has kept this franchise competitive year after year, even when plans change late in the process. There is also the reality that the clubhouse dynamic matters just as much as the numbers on paper. Adding a player of this caliber reshapes roles, expectations, and even leadership structures. The Dodgers have veterans who know what it takes to win at the highest level, and integrating another superstar into that mix is as much about chemistry as it is about production. When it works, it elevates everyone. When it does not, it can quietly create friction that only shows up when the stakes are highest. From a fan perspective, the emotional swing has been intense. Hope builds with every positive development, only to be tempered by reminders of financial limits and competing offers. It is a cycle that repeats daily, fueled by speculation and the natural desire to see the team take that final step toward undeniable dominance. Dodgers fans are not just dreaming about regular season success. They are thinking about October moments, about legacies, and about how close this team really is to another championship run. What remains undeniable is that this decision will mark a turning point, one way or another. Whether the Dodgers land the player or watch him choose a different path, the outcome will force clarity. Rosters will solidify, strategies will shift, and the long wait will finally give way to action. Until that moment arrives, the Dodgers remain in a state of calculated patience, knowing that the next move has the potential to redefine not just their season, but the balance of power across the league. At the same time, there's an understanding that the Dodgers have survived and succeeded without forcing every possible move. Their player development system, depth, and adaptability have kept them competitive even when splashy signings did not materialize. That reality gives the front office leverage to remain patient, even when external pressure mounts. They know they are not one bad decision away from irrelevance, and that confidence shapes how they approach negotiations like this. So for now, everything remains in this holding pattern, where speculation fills the gaps left by silence. Fans debate scenarios, analysts dissect financial models, and the league waits for clarity. Until that moment arrives, the Dodgers continue to stand at the center of the conversation, not because they are rushing toward an answer, but because they are carefully deciding which path best aligns with who they believe they are as an organization. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Rafael Devers, the beloved slugger and cornerstone of the San Francisco Giants, was spotted at Dodger Stadium recently, and the sports world is buzzing with speculation. Fans and insiders alike are wondering if this is the beginning of a seismic shift in Major League Baseball. Devers, who has long been celebrated for his clutch hitting and unwavering leadership, has become one of the most talked-about names in free agency discussions, and his sudden appearance at the home of the Los Angeles Dodgers has set off a frenzy online. Social media erupted almost immediately, with fans sharing screenshots, videos, and memes as they tried to make sense of the sighting. Some speculate that Devers could be touring the facility, exploring the organization's culture, or even meeting with team executives behind closed doors. The Dodgers, known for aggressively pursuing top talent, have reportedly been eyeing Devers for months, and this latest event seems to add fuel to rumors of a potential blockbuster move. Of course, nothing has been confirmed, but the optics alone have sparked heated debate among baseball aficionados. Giants supporters are expressing shock and disbelief, while Dodgers fans are already dreaming of a lineup featuring one of the game's premier hitters. Analysts have begun dissecting the situation, pondering the impact on both franchises and the balance of power in the National League. Could this signal a dramatic off-season maneuver? Or is it merely a coincidence, a friendly visit by a player with deep respect for the sport and its venues? Either way, the mere possibility of Devers joining the Dodgers has created a wildfire of speculation that refuses to die down. The baseball world is now watching every move, tweet, and press conference, searching for hints, statements, or leaks that might confirm or deny the swirling rumors. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear. The mere presence of Rafael Devers at Dodger Stadium has been enough to ignite imaginations and dominate conversations across sports media. Whether it becomes reality or remains a tantalizing what if, this moment has already etched itself into the lore of Major League Baseball as one of the offseason's most captivating mysteries. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.